You guys saw the piece for organized play, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll have to obviously talk a little bit about that.
That was weird to me in the middle of
Hey,
where we're at.
chain bound only.
Yeah.
What do you mean chain bound only?
It's chain bound only. They specifically, based off something JR posted, it is not OP.
So we'll have
Yes,
to
it's not OP
obviously talk
opening
about
up. It's
that.
chain bound only. That was weird to me. In the system.
Chain bound only.
Oh.
Yeah, so the piece that's coming from FFG organized
Mute site. There we go.
2 a.m.
Go ahead.
It says, Keyforge update. Good news for Keyforge players. Stores will be able to host chain-bound events again worldwide. All local COVID precautions need to remain in place, so make sure to check your local requirements. Safety is still our #1 concern, so please make sure to maintain social distancing and wear a face mask while playing, in addition to your local quarantine requirement.
Yeah, so we can't say OP is back. It's not. It's just chain bound at local. That's it.
There
Well,
are
it's
no
kind of
OP
back.
kits available. There is nothing else.
Nada.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Go earn some shards, catch a disease. It's all good.
Earn some shards and get a potentially fatal illness. Whatever. Sorry, go ahead, JR.
I was gonna say, with our dailies though, we can do it one sealed and one Archon every single week. That at least could go ahead.
As long as we have JR, do me a favor. Go into your settings.
No thank you.
Well, go into your little wheel, your little
Discord.
gear icon at the bottom. Make sure your volume on your mic's turned all the way up. And that it's not under, let me see, voice and video.
Yeah, that's 100%.
And make sure your automatic determination input sensitivity is turned off. It's like if you keep going down a little bit.
Turned on.
Yours is different. Oh, now he's talking and I can't hear him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay. Try a different input on the mixer. We can't hear you. Like switch the input to another input. Crank the gain on that piece though.
And you gave him too complex of stuff. I got a microphone. I plug it in the side of my computer.
I don't have another USB like headset to give them.
Does that come back?
Loud.
Yeah,
Is that better?
Yeah, that's
Well,
better,
now I need to
much
put
better.
them off of 200% back down to normal. Yeah, there you go. You're loud and clear now.
All right. Do you want the automatically determined input sensitivity turned off too?
You're good. I just got to get your levels correct now.
Hello. Yeah, I can hear myself.
Yeah, you're going to be able to hear yourself. Keep going. Give me like a 10 count.
10 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's good.
6, sir?
That's good. I got you. I got you at 6. I got to hang this up. This cord is far too long.
All right, anything else?
Nope. You are perfecto, sir. One of these days, I'm just going to come over and do it.
Yeah, if I had $1 for
I know. It's been a crazy week. I got to get an eyeglass appointment now. Fun times. Because I'm blind now.
I got to go ahead and change out a water water heater.
Ooh, I don't envy you. Not one bit. All right, we all ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm going to give... I got to figure this out, how I'm going to do this without another monitor. We'll just give it about 15 seconds and then go.
Those are heats that you're... What did you draw?
I don't know what those are. Are you the king of Q?
The delay is killer for my video here.
Yeah, well, sorry.
It only works if you're watching the Twitch stream.
I'm sorry. This is horrible.
What's horrible?
There
Princess.
he goes.
What does that say? Princess Wooks?
Princess
It's your
Wooks.
crown.
I get a crown
Or your-
now?
It's a tiara.
Ooh, it's even better.
I would not have gone with a crown. I would have said that was an
Or
upside down
it's
cow.
his beholder head. That's fine. They're beholder eye stalks, but it
I'll take a beholder head over a tiara, but I mean I'll also take a tiara. All right, let's get this.
trying to get it on your head and it doesn't fit. It's just too slow to respond.
I'm sorry. Let me tell you, a little bit to the right. All right, to your left. Sorry, a little bit to your left.
My left?
Your left. There you go. A little bit more. There you go. A little bit down. A little bit more. You're almost there. A little bit more. A little bit more. There. Oh, a little bit up. A little bit up. A little bit more. There you go. I'm glad Dan's bringing props to the show. All
Isn't
right.
that the point of cameras?
Let's get 20 seconds, and then we'll get moving.
I can think of any pop-up video factoids for you guys. I'll lay them out.
All right, we'll try 20 seconds all over again.
Yeah. That fits your head well.
All right, guys, what's going on? I'm just the Wookiee today. I don't want to be the one and only. I'm just going to be Wookiee today. Joining us, Big Z is back from assignment. I don't know what he did, but he's back. What's up, Z?
I had a sick family member to take care of, not like the COVID sick, but
Oh,
either
yeah,
way.
that's right. I remember now.
Sick.
I just
Yeah,
forgot.
yeah. Fine. Today, I'll be the one, the only, the Big Z!
Yay! And then we got JR.
Woo, woo, woo.
And
Hello, Keyforge community.
then there's Dan. He's not saying anything. If you're watching the video, you can see his reaction, but he's just being quiet, I guess. So, you guys
He's
voted
working
on
on
it.
his props.
Oh, Dan brought props today for everybody. So if you're not watching the YouTube video, Dan brought props.
You should.
So that should be fun. I'm sure you'll hear us talking about them. But voted upon by you as of your voices from the past 7 weeks, or I should say 6 weeks, of voting for all the other houses. The last house left is Shadows. So we're going to get into Shadows today. But first, JR, we got a bit of Keyforge news. What do we get?
We do. Coming from FFG Organized Play. They posted, I saw this on Facebook, so it says Keyforge update. Good news for Keyforge players. Stores will be able to host chain-bound events again worldwide. All local COVID precautions need to remain in place, so make sure to check your local requirements. Safety is still our #1 concern, so please make sure to maintain social distance and wear a face mask while playing in addition to your local quarantine requirements.
Yes, so make
great
sure that
news,
you're playing 6
Organized
feet away.
Play.
Sorry.
Yes, well, explain how that's going to happen, but I like the idea that chain-bound. So, not organized play, but chain-bound.
So you guys were talking about this. You, Dan, and Z were talking a little bit. And Z is not on camera right now. I have to figure out where I'm going to put a 4th camera and how I'm going to put a 4th camera at the current time. I know how I'm going to do it. I just didn't have time to do it. So, but Z and Dan were talking a little bit. Chainbound's back, but organized play isn't. Explain that a little bit more to me, because you guys confused me. I get it. We're not doing vault tours and whatnot, but organized play is mainly chainbound, isn't it?
Organized play consists of all of the vaults, all of the product prize support, primes, store championships, etc. So like that is all of the core organized play, which as we recall, that shut down prior to all chainbound being shut down initially, and is still shut down right now. Chainbound went on a little bit longer than the rest of the things. And then it was eventually called as well. And now Chainbound is back, but the rest of OP is still not back, meaning that we are still not going to be looking forward to local store championships, prime championships, Because I know we talked about this a long time ago. Worlds was supposed to be over by now. And we had some inner talks with the people from organized play thinking that the Prime/regional championships would have been available sooner to us right after Worlds for next season. Obviously, all of that's been delayed as we've not had Worlds. When that's going to happen, anyone's guess is as good as anyone else. I'm pretty sure FFG doesn't even know when that's going to happen. So yes, Chainbound is available for the brave and the bold, I guess.
Keyforge or die, or Keyforge and die. What is Dan putting up here now? His smoky. I just caught his smoky.
I saw sushi, and that's all I read.
Oh, you saw sushi? Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I
saw it.
here's the deal on that one too. So like where we're at, me, Dr. Sheep, and Ewok JR at, most game stores have, like, they're allowing a maximum of 5 people in at a time.
Like in the store, right?
Correct. And actually, my local, the one closest to me, TK Games, is not willing to open their play area yet. Just, again, with local ordinances and whatnot. They're not opening up their game room, I guess you could call it. So...
So my location was a different story. 3 to 4 weeks ago, longer than that now, like our whole state was more or less opened up. But 3 to 4 weeks ago, they did start running local play, and they had rules, and there's different things that there was a certain amount of people that could be in the store. But they did start running like local D&D games there. They did reach out to me if I wanted to run an event. The answer was no. But they were starting to try run events again. But then our entire state is about to shut down again because we're now the worst state possibly in the country, specifically the worst city.
So a little bit of it.
Just COVID. I mean, it's just kind of the worst state.
No, that is Iowa. But go ahead, JR.
Well, that's actually where I was going. First of all, if you're in one of the states that's being hit really hard right now, please be safe. Follow some precautions. I can go ahead and say organized play with that statement yesterday did go ahead and put in some clarifiers of you have to follow what your state is needing. There are some states, just so you're aware, you just said Iowa, but my brother lives in Iowa, fortunately. And with that, Iowa never closed. So Iowa has actually remained open throughout all of the last 3 months, 3+ months.
I'm still
and
just
so
in
that's
shock
important to
people
know
live
that
there.
certain states did. Well,
Yeah.
but honestly, if you look at that, there is still individuals who are gaming. And so with individual states, they're basically giving the option to run chain-bound events. But I think it's going to determine based on where you live and what's happening. So I like the flexibility, but honestly, be safe, everyone. This is a scary time for multiple reasons. And so, I highly recommend come out for the dailies. You are safe at home gaming, and we can still play some Keyforge.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun at the dailies.
We don't know exactly what they're doing at home, but you were safe from COVID through your computer screen.
Absolutely. Unless you have COVID.
That is true.
Never mind. Should we get into some shadows here
Hopefully
real quick?
you don't.
Yeah, hopefully you don't. I mean, nobody wants it,
let's
and
do it.
I'm hoping you don't. Real quick, next week, obviously, I have a plan for next week. Guys, I haven't shared that with you yet because I figured I'd share it with you today. And then in 2 weeks, we will be doing I opened up the Archons Corner email for the first time in a while. Don't ask me why I kind of neglected it. I just did. And I found just a smattering of emails with just questions. So I'm going to put an AMA together. I'm going to obviously get the form together. All 4 or all 3 of the boys can read it because I've already read it, and kind of go through it. If you do want to send us questions, feel free, either on Twitter, more emails at archonscorner@gmail.com, or even through the Discord. I'll be putting up reminders in there. I'll add them to the list, and we'll kind of just go through them. Again, keep them somewhat family-friendly. because of reasons, nothing too crazy. There's been like a handful of super crazy ones. I just got rid of them because I mean, there's certain things that you just don't need to know about any of us. And honestly, is none of your business. A little crazy on that one. I was surprised. at the Keyforge.
Now I'm like super curious.
I'll share them with you. I have to find them again, but yeah, there was some ones in there that I was just like, what? Why is that even pertinent? But let's get into Shadows. Again, we have the Dark Ember Vault, which we know is going to be in every single house in Keyforge for mass mutation. So we're not going to go through the Ember Vault. Let's go through Bow Nithering. 2-power Elf Thief. Play steal 1 for each forged key your opponent has. This reminds me of a certain analyst from well, I think he was just in Coda, right? The Verillion analyst.
You mean Dr. Escotera?
Dr. Escotera. Sorry. Yep, that's the one.
Yeah. Dr. Escotera was not good. This creature is better, but still not good.
Because Escotera read for each forged key your opponent has more than you, right?
No.
I'm sorry.
It's
That
just
card
for
does
each-
so little, I've forgotten what it does.
It's for each forged key,
Okay.
and you get 1. It doesn't have to be more than you.
So, I mean, the card does get better throughout the game, but then, I mean, you're never getting more than 2 from it. So, JR, what's your thoughts?
It's going to be better late game. I still like the idea of steal, but it's not a card that's wowing me that I'm super excited.
It's a
fine.
common, so we're
It
going
is
to
what it
see it.
is.
I like the art. The art's really good. I like kind of like the really small elf, and then you've got like the boogeyman behind him. I do like the art, not going to lie.
Trying to actually compare this to Ronnie. Over the course of the game,
Late game is going to be really good, but Ronnie steals 1 regardless.
true.
This, I mean, there are times in
I
play
think
where this does
card
nothing.
might actually be closer to the Ronnie than I'm thinking. And Ronnie is a good card. So I think this is an average card. I don't think it's as good as Ronnie. But I definitely think... I mean, people forge 1 key pretty fast, even in the flow of the game. Gameplay-wise, I mean, you shouldn't have to be that aggressive about stopping your opponent from forging their first key. Doesn't matter in a lot of decks whether they have 1 or 2, at that any point in time. So this card probably is above average, actually. So I'm gonna adjust my initial evaluations. I think this is an above average card.
Dan,
When you're
there you go.
when you're 2 keys to 2 keys,
Yeah,
4 Amber Swing is really good.
and we all
And
know
they don't have to be at 7 for this to work. They can be
Yeah.
at 1 or 2.
Sure.
Well, 2 or more.
That's why I had to think about it a little longer. Like 2 keys to 2 keys is the nuts and bolts of this game. Like good deck versus good deck, a lot of the times will end in that 2 to 2 thing. Outside of certain really weird combo decks that just win or lose, altogether. I think in total, I'm happy to see this card more than I'd be happy to see an Umbra, a Gamgee, a Nadi.
Yes.
And the majority of the game, he is pretty much just as good as having an Urchin, and I love my Urchins. So I think this is a good card.
Yeah.
Above
Good
average.
card.
Yeah, and with the idea, I think Dan, you had talked about 4 though. It is 4 your opponent has, so at most he's going to be stealing 2.
Well, it's a 4 Amber swing, is what he means.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a swing
2
of
for
4.
you.
Yes, it is a
2
4
from
amber.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 from you coming to me.
Although
The
Dan
wall-
will try to take 4 from you. Say, no, Dan, you only get 2.
He
I read cards. JR doesn't read cards.
Dan likes
Uh-oh.
trying to take more Ember
Nope.
than is what he's got.
JR's
me
already
again
thinking about it. He's
today
like,
when I was playing
I'm
another
only going to
tournament.
play this in some weird multiplayer format where I get to steal 1 for each key each of my opponents has forged.
Sounds good to me.
Something silly.
hey, let's do it.
Next card up, we're not going to go through the Thieves. The Thieves are like every other, I guess, special rarity
This is like
card.
the worst house for them, though, because they get like -1 power and elusive. They're terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
Like, the Shadows combo is often pretty bad.
Let's go through Dark Wave. It is an action. 1 ember for 1 pip of ember. Every time you play it, deal 2 damage to each non-mutant creature. Yeah? It's kind of like Poison Wave, but not.
It's as good as Poison Wave against the old sets, essentially. And in this set, it's...
I mean, because it is in the set with mutants, you almost have to say it is better than Poison Wave. Because it's not hurting a chunk of your own creatures by default. So yes, better than Poison Wave. How you evaluate this? Basically, however you evaluate Poison Wave, this is the same valuation. I did
a little less strong and sealed.
I did like Poison Wave more recently against Ward. I think this is a little better against World Collide decks. Because of the mass warding. There's not as much warding in MM. I don't want this in sealed though. At all. Like we talked about how many mutants would be in a sealed vault or sealed format. Like this would suck in sealed. Like the stuff that you probably need to get rid of at any random time is most likely going to be a mutant of some kind.
But you do get a pip of ember, so
yeah, I mean
there are
that's
worse
fine.
things.
I'm just saying, like I wouldn't necessarily want this in my deck in a sealed event.
I don't know if I'm going to hold it against it for being in a deck. Now, if there's like 2 or 3 in sealed, yeah, I might not play that
Blitz
deck.
thing is common. Like you could have 4 of these things.
You could. But I'm just saying, like, you're at least bare minimum. Fine. I deal no damage. I get 1 pip of ember.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's a bright side to it.
Deck by being there, so as far as that goes.
Let's get into Francis, the Economist. I was actually looking at this card before we went live. I'm not sure how I feel about him. He's a 3-power elf thief. He has skirmish as well, and a fight action of each player gains 1. JR, how do you feel about giving your opponent ember?
I don't like giving my opponent ember. There are a few times when we're playing Jenka and I want to push my opponent to be able to forge, sure. So it gives some interesting options there. But overall, I don't like the idea of giving my opponent ember. What's interesting is with skirmish, the fight effect will go ahead and consistently trigger.
Yeah.
Not only
I'm
that,
only thinking about, and I don't know if there's enough steel in here, but my Coda Shadows decks that sit there and do nothing for the first 4 turns of the game because you won't generate any amber, so I can't steal any of it. And this guy sort of gets around that, but it's still pretty crappy.
well, sort of, but I was more thinking like they're at 6, push him to 7, Ronnie, but I don't know if Ronnie's in set. I don't think he is.
No.
So there's that.
No too much to protect. No Ronnie.
Yeah, there's no scaling skill.
Yeah, this guy definitely synergizes with Coda cards better than he does with his own cards.
Sometimes, yeah, which is strange.
I don't like this at common. Like,
Yeah.
this is a card where you're often not going to be able to fight when you want to because it puts them on key.
Yeah.
But
I'm
does
the
it save
same.
him?
Like,
I
I'm
mean,
with Dan. Without the cards that y'all already mentioned, like this card is not something I want. If those other cards were still in set, definitely. The only saving grace of this card is because of his fight effect, you might get to reap with him more often than you should.
that's what I was just gonna say. Does
Some
he
players
maybe
might
live?
not kill him because of that, and that's a mistake in some cases because the reap possibility is still there. I mean, if I can and it costs me minimal resources, yeah, I'm still going to remove creatures from my opponent's
This
board.
card have an effect that said reap, you gain 1, and same thing except it was on a reap effect.
Yeah.
And I gain 1 or 2, you gain 1. That's like something they may let you reap with because they get something out of it, but you're gaining more.
Yeah.
This basically, I'm giving you an amber to do 3 damage to something. Oh God, don't like it.
Yeah.
And it's given. It's not even like he exalts. Would be better. I hate this. Hate this card.
I was not a fan of it like immediately when I read it, so I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing some crazy combo that's like, well, if you play this card and then this card and then this card and then this card and you do the hokey, all of a sudden you
Sass
win.
pretty much hates it too.
Yeah, I see that.
It's on the bad.
You would have to get a legacy for this guy to matter.
Gamgee finding himself getting a reprint which is very mediocre. Surprising to see Gamgee has a 50.2% win rate. That's surprising to me. A lot of good decks with or halfway decent decks with Gamgee in it.
Because his AOA is good, and you guys don't like to believe it.
Whatever. I still don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. Let's go through. Look over there. Play, deal 2 damage to a creature. If it's not destroyed, steal 1.
Great for popping wards, and you steal.
And you steal 1. I do like to steal 1.
It's not as good as its predecessors, Nerve Blast, Relentless Whispers, but it's still there. It's still doing a similar thing. It's not bad. It's not great.
Seems very okay. Very mediocre. I'm not sad to see it, but I'm not thrilled to see it.
Where this card really bites in comparison to those two, though, is you have to do 2 damage to a creature, which means something's got to be on the board, or this card is blank text. Like,
That is true.
Nerve Blast, steal 1 and do 2 damage to nothing, right? And Relentless Whispers gave you an Amber and then did nothing. This one, like, if you're on a blank board, it's just
Blank.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this trend happening. Like, the common damage steal cards have gotten worse and worse the whole way through.
This one,
I
don't like
also
this one.
say that with this, deal 2 damage to a creature. So even if your opponent's board side is empty, you still have to do the damage to your creature.
Yeah.
So
well, I
yeah,
mean,
no.
you just discard it then if you don't want the steal.
Right.
But I don't know.
Or you're
this-
playing
Correct.
Sanctum and happen to have 2 armor. I don't know.
Yeah, I will take more Bo Nothings or Bo Nithings.
Both Nithering. Yeah.
Bo knows best.
Bo
I'll
Nithing.
take more him and less of this.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Jed. I missed your comment. My apologies. I didn't. I'm like looking back and forth and like trying to get things down. So my apologies. But Jed says Francis the Economist would have to synergize with more Ember control to be good, which is not wrong. But Mug finding itself getting a reprint. So okay. More direct damage. Nexus finding itself getting a reprint. I'm not hating that. Which
A lot
is
of good artifacts around.
Yep, a lot of good artifacts in this set where Nexus.
A lot of good static artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
So where it makes him less good. So we'll see.
Yeah, but with Worlds Collide, Nexus has put in some work. But you have to play Coda to play Nexus. So you have your ups and downs there. So I'm happy to see Nexus come back. Let's go to Mutant Cut Purse. 3 power Mutant Thief, enhance, 3 damage. Dan, you're shaking your head no.
There's just not enough things to do with miscellaneous 1 points of damage to get me excited for this card.
Papa Ward.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Have
And
they
it's
ruled
3
whether those
points
get
of damage.
resolved one at a time? I
Yes,
think
you
they
go.
do, right?
Yes, you resolve each icon one at a time.
So a warded 1 power creature can be killed by this.
Technically, well, not because he doesn't have. He enhances your deck with 3.
But I mean,
yeah.
someone that had 2 of these.
Yeah, if somebody that had, yeah, technically yes,
That's interesting.
you can kill Rad Penny.
I
and
believe
shuffle
that
back
is
into your deck.
correct.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
even like if you had 3 damage icons show up on your own 1 power creature, somehow like if you do the first damage to your guy and he goes off the board, the other 2 still trigger and would
Yeah, because they're all
target other
part-
things.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
So-
think you could deal. I thought the timing chart said you couldn't deal it because you resolve the bonus
so-
icons before the creature enters play.
No,
Creature
you
didn't play.
put the creature in play, then you do all the bonus icons, then you do the play effect. So when we're just about to talk about Rad Penny,
Mhm.
Rad Penny, who has that destroyed effect, shuffles back into your deck. If she has a damage prep on her, she goes out of play and back into your deck before the play effect
Before the
step
play
happens.
effect happens, that's what it was.
So it would put her in the discard and not, or
it
it
would
would-
technically
her
shuffle.
play
her.
effect, she wouldn't steal. She would
Right.
shuffle back in, but her play effect of steal never goes off. So there's definitely some interesting stuff with the
Damage icons. Yeah.
and their timing.
So he's more of the same of what we've seen with guys with enhance. Adds 3, kind of very just vanilla. Not really
I'm trying
all
to
in.
think of the value of that low, because like you got to think that this is a creature on the board has a low threat value, so there's not a bad chance you'll get to reap with him because he offers
You
nothing
got
else.
called Shadows again. And,
True.
Yeah, I mean, it
well, we'll
depends on
see
the
if
deck.
there's enough stuff to make us think we're ever going to play Shadows more than once.
True.
We'll see.
Its value really does depend on whether you want to call
Shadows is
a
worth
third of
playing.
the time or like a fifth of the time, like Coda.
Let's
So-
yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Well, I was going to say, like, if this set, which I think it may be a little more like Coda Tempo, where you're often looking to turn more cards because of all the pips all over the deck, you may not be playing what's on the board. Where AOA, I think the really good AOA decks actually, and definitely Warwick Lies deck, they play their board much better because their in-play effects are usually significantly more interesting.
And the creatures don't suck.
And this set, from what I've seen, I think it definitely feels much more like Coda, where
You want to
if
play
you come
through your
back
deck.
to the creature, you come back to the creature, but often, you know, it's a bunch of this stuff and all these combo creatures that once they're on the board, you don't really care about them that much,
Play them out
Yeah.
and go.
which then makes this guy kind of boring. Doesn't,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I think you're going to be doing a lot of turn and burn in this set.
Let's get to Opportunist. Pip of Ember every time you play it. It is an upgrade. This creature gains elusive. When you play it, the creature captures 1 Ember from its opponent. So it's basically a capture mechanic, I guess. And you give something elusive, which I guess isn't the worst thing.
Capture and
So, I mean, again, that
and
seems
you're
very
getting the amber
vanilla.
on the card.
I'm not-
Gain 1, capture 1, give elusive.
give elusive to something.
Gain a loop.
Wow. That card is underwhelming me.
It's very, I mean, it's like I said, it's very vanilla. Like, there's nothing flashy about it. It's, you play it to gain an Ember. Yay. I don't know what to say about it other
Also,
than
I
that.
mean, if you're, but if your person is right at check, again, this is that stall
Yeah.
piece where you capture the 1. It's not great, but
Okay.
for the ability to gain an amber, to gain elusive, and to capture 1, fine. It's okay for what
That's-
it is.
Thing I'm thinking of right now is this is a way to give your opponent's creatures elusive, so your fight effects, so those so your dinos with fight effects have something to fight into, but it's elusive, so then they can't reap.
They also
guy.
get to capture 1 from you.
They capture
Yeah,
1 from you.
whatever.
Yeah, whatever. No biggie.
And you're guaranteed to have the 1 too.
Hard to wait on my judgment. I couldn't find it. There's no Shadow Self in this set. If Shadow Self still existed, this would be great. It doesn't.
There
not.
is a card close.
Yeah, no, he's nothing like Shadow Self.
All
for
right,
what
fine. I mean, he's as
elusive
close
Shadow
as
Self
we're going to
do.
get.
Show their
Yeah.
idea.
It's as close as we're going to
Yeah.
get. Rad Penny. The
Yeah.
reason I think we'll be playing Shadows in this set. Rad Penny is a 1-power mutant thief. When you play Rad Penny, you steal 1. When Rad Penny is destroyed, she gets shuffled back into your deck. And then I'm just going to say it now because for those of you watching, Seeker Needle is getting a reprint. So
Yeah, this is probably the best card we have in Shadows right now.
Yeah, and when Rad Pennies get enhanced, it is going to be. I mean, this and QMax both kind
Mhm.
of have similar silliness.
This is a great card. Even if it doesn't get enhanced, if it's the right enhancements, it becomes a broken card, and the math
think-
says it's going to happen. So,
I think the only place this card starts to become undesirable is when you're
capture.
getting thin on shadows and it keeps getting back into your damn hand, kind of like a bad penny. It's maybe a little slower, but you know, it goes back in your deck, comes back in your hand, and then you have the shadows card that may be the only shadows card in your hand. Because it cycles itself.
She would
Well,
be
and we
absolute-
were talking about that. Yeah, we were talking before the show about the scaled steel and how that's really lacking. So yes, if you end up with 1 at the end of your deck, or even 2, and you can't pull them off check, it becomes a little problematic. But similar to Bad Penny, you're going to have to know when to discard it. I mean, and that's fine, but it is taking a spot.
I would
I
like 2
rarely
of them.
see where you discard this, though.
I would like 2 of them, and they
that's how
both
you
have
stop
draws.
this cycle.
Correct.
It's just, you know, like if you're, I can just see it chalking up your deck. Rarely, but every once in a while, it's just going to get in a bad spot where it sits in your deck and prevents you from flipping it over or something that
Sure,
you're
but
trying to do.
overall- Yeah, but overall, this is a good
yeah.
card. This is the
Mhm.
reason we're playing Shadows, and with the ability to go ahead and seek needle to be able to gain an amber and steal. Sure, we'll.
I'm just
take
saying, just because you see a rad penny
Interestingly-
doesn't mean it's going to be good for the deck.
Sure.
It's kind of, it is damn good, but there are
No,
some
we-
things where shuffling stuff back in your deck isn't always the most desirable.
Well, that's like anything. I mean, any card at shuffle, it depends on
Correct.
the situation. But I mean, Arc, you guys can't see it on screen, but Arc loves her too. 3.5 to 4.5.
Yep.
That's a pretty high Arc score for a card. So,
And we were also talking that, well, again, right now, Dex Keyforge does not have the synergies listed. So again, because we can't,
It doesn't have
necessarily
all
do that,
synergies.
if
It
we
has
get
some.
of these, but if we can put some, ability to draw on this from Logos, if you can go ahead and take another steal or even a capture, there's some really nice enhance effects that could come on Rad Penny to make it much, much
better.
Like, no, I agree. I think Red Penny is going to make some very, very silly decks as well. But it's just one of these cards that, although it is a very good card,
I mean, draw would be great and all, but like if this had just one raw amber on it, like that's ridiculous.
it's
Yeah.
capture and damage are the two you probably
Don't
want the least. I mean, capture would be okay. Damage is bad because if she's the only thing, then it makes her lose her own
if you get
steal.
multiple rad pennies with draw or one rad penny with like 2 draw, there's a potential for upslide there to go bananas, but one rad penny with 1 amber pip on it is already amazing.
I mean,
as
and,
far
and that could get super
so.
busted too. With again, Seeker Needle being reprinted.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
you play your Rad Penny.
That,
If it's got an Ember Pip on it, you get one, you steal one, you Seeker Needle for another. That's 3 Ember right there.
And it's back
then
in your deck.
And then it goes
Yeah.
back into your deck.
It's the
And
last card in your deck, and it's the only
Yeah.
thing you're playing, so you just play it, drop, play it, drop.
And,
play
Three
it,
Ember
drop.
turn?
I already mentioned like the math thing earlier. Like that's just one scenario where it has 1 raw amber pip. There's going to be decks printed at some point in time that have multiple rad pennies where each of them have something on them. And things can get real silly.
Yeah. I think there's going to be
I
some
will
Rad Penny
say
silliness.
with Infernus still being printed, it's a great, if you're going to have enhanced effects on it, it's a great target to be able to go ahead and hit and purge. I would also go ahead and look.
How
She's-
would that work?
Very hard to purge because you gotta. I mean, like you have to make them discard it to get into
Yeah.
the discard pile to purge it.
It's the most Infernus resistant card.
It's,
Right?
Yeah.
it's hard to get into Infernus zone.
You would have to oubliette it.
That's true.
Oubliette.
Yeah, I love
You're silent, JR.
So that is a better choice. You are correct.
Okay.
Okay. We talked about Seeker Needle finding itself getting a reprint. Shoulder ID.
This one has had a lot
I
of
know.
goofy rules questioning, and this is
I've-
one they have clarified in the unofficial official thing.
Yeah,
where
weird how they said everything was going to go through their OP account and then it didn't. But
and then a French employee answers a bunch of questions
Right.
based off of what he heard, or Danny answered a bunch of questions for French people, or something like that.
right. So Shoulder ID, you guys are familiar with him. 6 power Spectre, has taunt. He cannot fight, and if it would deal damage, you would steal 1 instead. So why don't you take it and explain how the ruling is at the current time?
So people are really excited to see this, and with the 2 different damage enhancing Shadows cards, to see this with damage on it. So that way, when you played it, they thought the amber pips on it would be damage coming from Shoulder ID, and you would steal. But pips on cards, the source of the damage is not the card, so it does not work.
Right.
So now this thing has become maybe less interesting because it basically has to be fought into, and there's very little ways to force fighting. You can make it so they can only fight, but they can still just be like, well, I choose not to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and I know there are some people asking, is it going to steal 6 or is it going to steal 1? Did we have an answer on that one?
it'll steal each time it does damage. It would do 1.
1. Right. So each time it fights.
There is still not a ton of clarity on how this with something like a smite works. Like the 2 damage off to the side from smite, is that coming from smite or this?
I think
It's
that's coming from Smite. I think they're. I don't remember why, but I think that was clarified at some point in time.
or like flamethrowers the same, or fire breath, those kinds of cards. Like
Yeah.
people want it to be from this, and it's not really 100% clear.
If you give him hazardous, does he deal damage twice?
Yes.
Or assault.
I would say
Assault
yes.
1. This next to a bulwark could be really cool
Yep.
then. 'Cause
Well,
then,
assault is when you fight. He can't fight.
Yep, you're correct. Thank you.
So if you give him hazardous from your awesome untamed lineup, I think that's the only one that gives
Yeah.
him hazardous. Is
Yeah, your non-existent car.
yeah. You know, you can give him. He deals damage with the hazardous, and then he deals damage himself. So that's 2. Sounds good to me. But he is a taunter. He is a 6-power taunter. I think.
I think he's still a good card in general.
Taunt is always
but
good at common, so like that has to be said here. We're just really navigating whether we think the steal is good on this or not. Taunt, like we saw how good taunt was at common from Saurian's last set. Just the 2 that they had were game changing in some decks. The fact that Shadow Self was so important to Coda Shadows, I don't think this is good as Shadow Self, but it's pretty close just because it has taunt and there is a further deterrent to not want to attack it.
Right.
So I think it is definitely better than the average common. I need to play with it to see how much it actually affects the
I think it's
gameplay.
better than your average taunter.
Yeah, taunt on common is a great thing. Like that definitely needs to be.
And giving you a reason not to fight into him. I mean, if you have no Ember, fine, fight into him all you want. But
yeah,
it
the
does
reason you
give you a
don't
reason.
fight champion in outfield is because you typically die with your creature.
Right.
The reason you don't fight him is because you're giving them an amber, and as we said, that's steal. So that is a 2 amber swing as far as like net game value.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good card. I just don't know how good it is until I actually play with it.
Sure. Let's get into Subtle Auto. 1-power Mutant Thief. Your opponent when you play him, your opponent discards a card at random from their hand. I should probably clarify that. This is, again, it's a mechanic I want to see a hand control mechanic, but the mechanic is so spread out through the now 4 different sets. It's just never been able to be a viable skill.
It's normally not uncommon, though, right?
I would have to go back and look.
is Mind Barb common?
I
I don't think so.
Are you
And
sure?
Subtle Chain is definitely common.
Subtle Chain is common, and I think Subtle Maul uncommon? I'd have to look at it. I don't remember off the top of my head. Rarity in this game, I mean, as we kind of go through and progress, I guess it means more and more, but like rarity from past sets, I forget.
Subtle Maul's an
Subtle Maul is
Uncommon.
uncommon?
I know every once in a while I have played against a triple Subtle Maul deck.
And it's brutal.
It's
Mine
it's it is, and it's a lower SAS deck, so you're awfully playing SAS limited.
Mm-hmm.
So your options aren't as great anyways, but then when they can just like put one guy on the board and make you discard 3 cards every turn, it can shut you down hard.
I've played against a triple maul deck before, too. It's
Yeah.
very frustrating.
Of course,
Very
they could also be late in their deck and do nothing. That's always the thing. So
That could be.
this guy, 1 power pointless creature with a acceptable play effect in common. I mean, like, I'd rather have him than half of the 1 power creatures that came out in AOA or Worlds Collide, right? I don't
Yeah.
care about giving my guys elusive. This is arguably still better than Breaker Hill. Breaker Hill
He's
has
definitely
more
Breaker Hill.
broken,
Right.
like, top end, but most of the time does nothing. So, it's a good play effect.
Yeah.
Maybe he stays around and reaps because he's pointless,
I was
but
gonna
at the
say,
same time, maybe he
sticks around
doesn't.
reaps. I don't know. He's
I
a
mean-
target for a lot of like, I could just take a creature off the board and just take one of my damage counters, just kill him.
I mean, I think I'd rather have a Mind Barb where or a Subtle Chain where I just got an Amber and you discarded over this than having a creature that...
Well, speaking of Mind Barb, let's go through Tempting Offer. Pip of Ember, every time you play it, it is an enhance 1 capture. When you play it, return an enemy creature to its opponent's hand. If you do, your opponent gains 1.
This is
This-
bad.
This card is good.
Well, girls fight. I want to hear it.
Well, okay, so this card, it doesn't have an if in the first part, which makes it
Yep.
less good. If it had an if in the first part or a may, you may return an enemy creature, so you could just
Yeah.
choose to gain the amber and throw this thing in the junk.
Yeah, that's not a choice.
So now, but there are still plenty of times where they have a pile of captured amber on something for some reason, or they have a pile of upgrades, and this card will be quite good. It hands out an enhance too. I'm not heartbroken for a copy
you're
of this.
comparing it to, like, this is what Fear, Lights Out, Nature's Call. Like
This
way
is on
worse
par
than
with
all of
Fear.
those. Do I like this better? I think it's better than Fear because actually of the enhanced part.
Well, and it has an amber pip on it that Fear doesn't.
Right.
Yeah. Well, in a way, because your opponent's gonna get an amber too in most cases.
I guess ideally you're bouncing something back that has a lot of ember on it, though. I mean,
So,
there
like-
are better ways to do it. But
I think one of these is a usable card in a deck. I sure don't think you want a deck with 3 or 4 of them. At least not against the typical deck. Yeah,
Like, you're
one of
giving
these
your
is
opponent an
okay.
amber 90% of the time when you play
Yes.
this card.
Agreed.
So, like, it's basically Fear, but it also gives another card, a card in your deck. Capture. It's better than Fear. It's definitely worse than Lights Out by a big margin.
all right, JR, break the
Yeah, so-
the tie. We got one loving it, one still not
Oh,
thrilled.
I don't know if I love it.
Well, okay, we got one that likes it, one that doesn't
Yeah.
like it.
I don't like giving my opponent. I really don't. I like the idea of the enhance being on another card, but I gain an amber. So if I'm right at 5, much rather have tempting offer than going ahead and look at Fear. But overall, with where the amber control is, I don't want to see it. So I'm going to put it without playing it. A thumbs down right now, but I would need to have a little bit more practice and play time with this card.
And if your opponent's one off of a key, you just can't play this card.
Yep.
Like that.
Correct.
Yeah, I was not thrilled with
For
it.
their
Bounce
third key.
has become real good. I just don't know if the downside to this card is too much for it. There's so many other cards that do this and don't make me have to give my opponent an ember. So I have a real hard time with it.
I wouldn't go with so many, but like the cards that are out there are really good.
Well, what do you mean not so many?
There aren't
There's-
that many
there's
cards that return.
Bunches.
creatures.
Lost in
Okay.
the Woods,
Next card.
Nature's Call.
Okay.
All right, next card. Vandalize. Pip of
It's-
Ember
it's
every
probably
time.
less than 10, Wookie.
But they're all most of them are at common. Anyways, Vandalize. Play. Look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Discard one and put the others back in any order. I'm giving it a thumbs up.
It's a less effective Bornit.
I would rather this than Mind Barb, honestly. So yeah, thumbs up.
Sure.
You get a Pip of Ember every time you play it. JR, thumbs up or thumbs down on this one?
2 thumbs up and sealed.
Oh,
Default, by the way.
Correct. I actually give this a thumbs up. I would rather see this than subtle auto. So with the common slot, discarding a random card from the hand, but I like the control.
Oh,
of
this is, I was
discarding,
gonna say this
you know,
is from their
seeing
deck.
3 cards.
Like Archon or sealed, this
Yeah.
is great. In sealed,
the
this is
deck.
phenomenal. Especially
Yep.
sealed Archon. Like knowledge is very valuable. Whether it's Archon or sealed. If it's Archon, you know the list. You know what cards you're looking for. You get to see 3 cards from the top of their deck. There's certain cards if you see, you might have just won the game because you were holding back or something.
This is a
So yeah,
Genka
this is a
beater.
great card.
This is a Genka beater.
Good.
Let me look at
This
the
could
top
be-
3 cards of your deck, and if you're getting low, and I haven't seen Genka yet, I either know you're holding it or it's still. I guess you could say it's still possibly in there, but I mean, this card shuts down Genka. It just
It's not
does.
as good as Bornit's Touch because
No.
that card's just broken
That
from the
card's
beginning.
busted.
But that card was also uncommon. This card is uncommon.
Right.
So you give me a deck with 4 of these. I will not be sad about that at all.
Right. And I won't be sad to play Shadows in Mass Mutation. So I like it.
So what's interesting is when you were talking about Genka, Wookie, that's what jumped in my mind. When we're looking at tempting offer, the ability to give an extra amber, when we're looking at even subtle auto with the discard or the vandalize, a lot of those combo decks, that seems to be one of the pieces that Shadow is trying to target.
Cards that make
deal
you
with right now,
discard
is how can we go ahead?
scare the Genka deck.
Correct.
Oh.
Cards that go ahead and push your amber up, so you have to forge when you're really trying to come in right underneath it. So I like.
How do we feel
Vandalize.
about that fight? Give one away against the stupid Heart of the Forest decks. Ooh. Every once in a while, there's a use for these cards that are typically not very good.
That's true. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, and you guys probably see more of it than I do because I haven't gotten to a lot of Vault tours. How many heart decks you seeing at VTs?
Very few.
Out of 100.
How many Genka decks are you seeing at VTs? I think I've seen more Genka decks playing online than I've ever seen at a Vault tour.
About 1 out of 100 there as well that I know make it to
But they're there,
a
though.
point that we care
There's
about.
A lot of bad Genka decks.
Yeah.
There's just very few heart decks. Period.
Heart's just one of those cards I don't know what to do with it. Like, I see it, I get it, but even when it's it's a decent heart deck, I still go, oh.
JR tries to play a heart deck.
Even a good heart deck. This is someone I do have a decent heart deck. It's got quite a bit of speed, but the problem is that there's still too many issues against heart. You have artifact control that exists that's out there. Fine, there's going to be plenty of decks where it doesn't have artifact control. If it does, though, how do you have the ability to recur that? The next piece is you have to have a key cheat that's going to go ahead and build on that. So you really have to have a huge amber, bump. And I don't know. I don't see heart as being viable in a competitive level. I wish it was.
I think, to be honest with
frankly,
you,
I don't think a lot of people do.
I think, to be honest with you, you missed your window. Like, the window right now is where
I think there's too much artifact control now.
I don't know. You think there's too much?
Oh, God, there's so much good stuff in here. Anyways,
with Mass Mutation, I'm saying, like, with Worlds Collide, I think, like, with the deck JR is talking about, with that heart deck, the window is now. I know there's still a lot, but he has recursion. Anyways, we can get on that topic in another day. Let's get into some.
I think Vandalize is good. Let's move on.
Yeah, I think we all agree Vandalize is good. Burn It Venom. I hate this card.
It's a reprint.
Yeah, it's a reprint. The Venom is a reprint. The Booby Trap is coming back. That is a reprint. Borrow. Pip of Ember. Every time you play it, take control of an enemy artifact. While under your control, it belongs to House Shadows instead of its original house.
Like Snack Lifter, right?
Yeah,
yes,
it's
on a card with an Amber Pip. It's good that it's uncommon because we saw that what happens when you have too many Hawks, you end up just playing them for Amber. This doesn't fix Heart of the Forest, but it's a pretty damn good card.
Yeah,
it's a good card. Get an Amber, steal an artifact. In my opinion, slightly less good as Stack Lifter because he was really easy to recur. But I do like the Amber.
Fair enough. I don't
think see one of these in any deck.
I think anybody here is gonna say like Borrow's a bad card. I just don't think that's
and the fact that it makes everything Shadows, regardless of what it was, because that was one of the things that kind of stuck with Snack Lifter is you'd take a card and it would still belong to some other house in your deck that.
If you had the house, yeah.
Yeah, where this can make some really broken combos when you have some artifacts. Can't think of any particular off the head, but I know sometimes getting that right artifact in Shadows, things like Book of LEQ, right?
Yeah.
And there are some great artifacts that are coming out with Meditation. So, again, I like artifact control. I'm for it.
Just stabbed myself. That was fun. Let's go into Boss Zarek. He is a creature, mutant thief, enhanced 3. Okay, so he's 3 capture. Each friendly creature with Ember on it gains elusive. This could seem real good with like a Shadows Saurian deck because Sanctum, Shadow Saurian Sanctum.
No, not both. I don't want both of those. One of
I
one
think-
of your houses has to be Logos. It's
One of those
Logos
has to
and
be
two
Logos.
other houses.
I think it's Saurian because Saurian is the only one that still has some ways for you to
With
do
Faust?
something with the amber on your creatures.
Well, I would say Faust. I think each creature with Amber makes your opponent's key cost +1, right? With Faust.
Yep.
So and now they all have elusive too. That seems
Right.
pretty
This
decent.
guy is a single one in a deck is
uncommon,
fine.
and yeah, just one. I want one, maybe two in a deck because 6 capture, 6 capture.
We were just looking at a deck earlier today that has 2 of this guy, 3 of the Sanctum guy that has 2 captured amber, and then it had a few more. It had a total of 15 enhanced capture amber pips in the deck.
That's pretty bonkers.
That's why I'm saying, like, there is some really silly stuff that's going to happen in this set.
I'd actually be pretty happy with 2 of this guy because, like,
Yeah,
his
2 of them.
static isn't nothing. Like, that is something to actually give a lot of people a lot of a headache because like if anything captured on anyone, because you get to choose where the capture goes, so you can land that capture on one of your big Saurian creatures or your huge Logos cyborg army you have out there if you're playing that method that we already talked about. So like them all having that elusive trait with all that capture in your deck, I like this card. I don't know if I'd want 3, but even that 3,
You're
like,
still
well, hell,
capturing
there's
9.
capture in my
Yeah.
deck now, and everything's elusive. So it's like, I don't know. Like I actually really like this at uncommon. I
doubt you're
think
gonna
I
see
like it.
3, but I think 2 is.
I mean, this is definitely better than old Bruno, and everyone loves old Bruno.
Hold on. Old Bruno's OG. Come on, man.
But that's what you're looking at.
You
This
can't
is
do
like-
that to Bruno.
This is a direct old Bruno upgrade.
And old
he's
Bruno
spreading
we
out
will
the
see later,
capture,
so yes, it
And
is.
multiple people are getting elusive.
This still doesn't protect you against Gateway, though. And that's still the problem with capture.
Yeah.
So, potentially a multi-Xeric deck and sealed, where not everybody
Ludo's
has
still
a
in set, right? To do our Saurian Shadow combo.
Ludo is not inside.
yeah, or Curiosaurus.
He's got his
No.
own statue thing, right? Am I wrong?
I don't know. Hold on. Let's
go
switch screens here real quick. I think you're
think
very
Ludo
wrong.
was back.
Ludo in the
Ludo's back, but not. Yeah, Perfecto Ludo's back with the monument.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
okay.
Ludo's in set.
Scudum didn't make it
I
back
could
around, I
definitely
think.
see a combo between Shadow and Saurian and Logos,
And a
where
Ludo.
you're capturing a whole bunch. You've got your Ludos in there because Ludo's common. Yeah, like I could see that actually tanking a lot of freaking Amber. That would be hard to deal with, like them being able to stop you from getting rid of all the Amber.
All
The fact that
right.
they put 3 enhance on this guy, like, I think a guy that just had 3 enhance, 3 power creature is in line power wise with a lot of what they print. And then this guy has a decent ability.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I Boss Eric is big thumbs up for me.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was
See,
always
what's
a fan of
interesting
Old
is-
Bruno. He's better.
Yeah, out of old Bruno, I still would prefer to have old Bruno with the capture 3 on one individual.
see, I don't know. I think I like
card,
it spread
in
out
this
because
token creature.
then when they don't have 3 amber, you're not losing part of your effect possibly.
I like it
I
spread out like
understand,
this.
but
There's. Go ahead, JR. I understand what you're saying.
But when you have the ability to take someone down by 3, and a simple enhance of capture 1 or even 2 in that case isn't going to be enough. I
Right.
think that more often than not, the enhance icons are going to come out in 1s, and you're not going to see doubles of it. And so that's why I'd prefer to have old Bruno. But that's
And-
just me personally.
I see doubles, but
You might see
I
doubles,
don't know
but I
how
mean,
often that happens.
Sure.
being able to capture 3, that's kind of big. I mean, it just is. That is taking somebody from a key and putting them back at halfway. I mean, I get it both ways. I get I like to spread it out, put one here, one here, one here. It makes them focus on, I got to focus on 3 creatures now instead of 1. But I get hey, okay, I got 7. Well, no, now you have 4. good luck. I get
Has
it both
quite a bit
ways.
of stuff that benefits having amber on creatures in slow static ways like this, or
Yeah.
gains armor or things like that. So I think spread is
Yep.
pretty good. But yeah, I think we all agree this card is fine.
It's bananas. Fidget, maybe not bananas, but fine. Fidget and Lights Out. Lights Out getting a much needed reprint. Fidget getting, it's getting a reprint.
I love Fidget.
Do you ever get them to work?
Rarely, but it's
Exactly.
so much fun when it does.
It is fun when it does, but
Right?
rarely
I
get 'em
mean,
to
you'd
go.
rather have the Merkins because he's more likely to fire,
Right.
but
So we're gonna move on to Lucky Dice. Pip of Ember. Every time you play it, it is an artifact. Omni, destroy Lucky Dice during your opponent's next turn. Friendly creatures cannot be dealt damage.
this is that. I just captured all your amber. I'm on last key. There you go. Hopefully you can't board wipe me.
Yeah, I guess that is the
Like
board wipe Hail Mary.
I see it as a closer card, right? That's where I think it has use. I've just got enough to keep you off key because of capture, which there's plenty of capture in this set.
Seems to all be in shadows.
Hopefully you can't take it back.
If this said your friendly creatures could not be destroyed, I would like it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say that, so I don't care.
Well,
whatever.
I mean, hold on, because this does say, hey, you either have it or bust. Late game.
Sure. I
mean, you
guess.
either
Like,
have
I
the
don't
board
know.
wipe or you don't. And if you don't, you're SOL.
This is slightly better than the one that gave all your creatures a loop.
This also
Like, it's
blocks things such as Red Alert.
true.
Because Red Alert was a
Yeah.
huge card in Worlds Collide for
Could be.
them. Well, it could be. But how
I
many
think-
times did you see your opponent blow up their board to blow up the rest of yours? It
I
happens
like that
quite
it's
often.
Omni, right? So once it's on the board, you can use it when it's opportunistic. You don't have to go back into shadows. I'm not looking for copies of this card, but I think it's fine to have.
I think a one of is good to have.
I'm going to put it in the same boat. I put the one that gives all my creatures elusive. It's just another card I don't want in my 12.
Yeah, I mean, for a Shadows card, though, in this set, I think it's one of the 12
know what you're
that's
talking about. Yeah,
not
that
hurting.
card stinks.
Which one?
The one that gives all your creatures elusive.
Oh, yeah. Nah, they can still be...
Okay.
This says no
Yeah.
damage, but... and this also means... Does this mean... Because they cannot be dealt damage. So if your opponent wants to play any cards that have damage pips on them, they have to deal
They
it to
just
their own
don't
creatures.
take the damage.
Wouldn't they just
no,
have to deal
I
it to their own creatures? Because they
I don't
can't
think
be dealt
so.
damage. You cannot. I have a card specifically says you cannot deal it to my creatures, so you can't deal damage to them at all. So the damage would have to come back to you, since you cannot deal damage to my creatures.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I do. But we'll get a ruling on that eventually. Miasma Asp finding himself getting a reprint. I love Miasma
Maces.
Asp. He's my best.
Maces.
Miasma Asp.
Mason.
I'm looking
Yeah,
at
this-
Miasma Bomb, and I said Miasma Asp.
Miasma bomb. I know.
So often does nothing though.
Often does nothing, but when
But yeah,
I mean, you do have
he's
some
cool.
taunters out there that can help him stick, and I've had it when he sticks, he does work.
I've had him. He's put in some time and effort in the adaptive matches that I've played. Skirmish and poison. Problem is you're gonna have, is he a target?
I prefer
Depends on
collector
that.
worms for my long, slender killers.
Oh, sure, we all do. But honestly, for what
No, I'm being picky.
Shadows has,
Let's
in
talk
some
about
of the other
Miasma
sets,
Bomb.
Mace's has.
Let's
Let's
talk
do it.
about
Miasma
Miasma
Bomb.
Bomb. Artifact, enhance 1 damage, destroy Miasma Bomb. Your opponent skips the Forge a Key step during their next turn. I think this is a much worse well, no, you got to destroy it. This is a much worse Miasma.
And you have to do it on a Shadow's turn.
And you got to do it on a Shadow's turn, and it's delayed. And I guess you don't have to hold it in your hand.
And
which
there
is-
is Nexus,
Yep.
Borrow. There were a couple other. There's just so much Amber Destruction
And you don't get a
or-
pip
or-
here. So this is bad.
Oh,
This is a
artifact
bad
control.
card.
Yeah, this is a bad. They should have just reprinted Miasma. Or made a
I've-
new one at uncommon.
it'll do work once in a while,
I'll
but
go ahead and stick out there. Yes.
You like it?
I'm not saying I like it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I won't put it in the stat of that I hate it. The reason being, okay, enhance, with the damage pip, we know that this is one of the bottom 2 icons, but there are times where miasma you have to play it for the amber pip, and that's so there's no amber pip on this with the artifacts, but it is something that sits out there. And if they don't have artifact control, again, it can sit there and then you can use it at the right time. So it's not the worst card that I've seen, but it is what it is.
I'm wondering with mass mutation, is artifact control going to be one of the, because we kind of veered away from artifact control after library access Nepseed was kind of blown up. Like it was almost towards a luxury item for a while there. You saw a lot of decks without it and doing well, and then all of a sudden now it almost feels like it's going to become a necessity again. Anybody else feeling that, or just me?
It's that balance, yeah.
Like, because if I had a Hawk in
problem is we
Worlds
don't
Collide, great. If I didn't, that's okay too.
See, I think Worlds Collide was
But
a
this is the
set where
piece,
you
when
were
we're-
more likely to need artifact control than some of the other ones. The soaring artifacts were just so good.
What you got, JR?
I don't know. I just look at artifact control as, because we can't choose our 12 cards, that you want artifact control if it's there, but there's a lot of people entering some top competitions without the artifact control. And so this isn't, in my opinion, game changing or game breaking by any means. But I think that you have to look at the overall set of your 12 cards, and better yet, a set of all 36, in order to determine what you're going to be playing and taking with you.
For sure.
So honestly, artifact control has been pushed down. There's some really powerful artifacts coming in mass mutation, but I don't know if it has made it to the level that it is an absolute necessity.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Think
made it to
so.
that level, because Nepseed, Library Access Nepseed made it, so it was like, yeah, you had to have it. Otherwise, it was just not going to happen. But old Bruno, my boy, getting a reprint. Perplexing Sophistry getting a reprint. Let's get into Ransack. Ransack, play Steal 1 Ember. Discard the top card of your deck. If that card is a Shadows card, trigger this effect again. Ooh, you know what? I kind of like this almost. And the reason why, there's Logos cards that let you kind of peel through your deck, isn't there? Or was it...
Star Alliance allows
Star
you to
Alliance
kind
that
of
lets you-
rearrange the top of your deck.
So you could rearrange the top of your deck and kind of make sure that this goes off.
So all you have to do is get this card
And Xenothief?
and any other Shadows card, and then purge the rest of your deck, and then
steal.
Well, no, because you only get to discard the top. That doesn't reshuffle it. Because if you're on an empty deck, this just fizzles.
Right. If you're on an empty deck, this is no bueno. And this card really works against, really works against Rad Penny.
In our talk earlier, though, where there's definitely the ability to purge down to 2 houses through archive and whatnot, this card could make one of those 2 houses you don't purge out being Shadows really good.
Yes.
It could. I mean, like, it could be a lot of steal. It could also steal 1, and we've all said cards that just say steal 1 are fine,
Yeah.
if not good. So this
I have
card
to
is
play with
good.
it, for Final Judgment. I think it's average at the very minimum. Steel 1's an average card for Shadow House, which is like what Bait and Switch came. On average, it steals 1. It's an average card now. This feels like very Bait and Switch modern era to me. It could be better, but that's about where I'm equating it to, about that level of power.
Fair enough. Reckless Rizzo, 1 power Elf Thief with Elusive. Action, steal 2. Until the start of your next turn, Reckless Rizzo loses Elusive. JR, what you got?
I will take the ability to lose Elusive for stealing 2. Doesn't have a place in where it needs to be in battle line. It's still very, very weak at 1 power, but I like that steal 2, and it's a nice piece. I'm fine with it in the uncommon slot.
Power and mass mutation.
Well, Dan, we know how Dan feels about it.
I think it's a bad card, but I do want to like take a moment to appreciate like the art with what it's doing.
Yeah.
So it's like disguising itself as a regular elf, it seems, and then once it steals the 2, I guess like they know it's a bad guy, so you can kill it because it's not elusive. I do appreciate the like role play type thing with the art and the mechanic. Card sucks though.
Too slow.
It's slow
too slow.
and it's 1 power. You have to come back to shadows. There's so many reasons. Like it's not great. Like I don't mean like naughty. Naughty doesn't lose elusive. Yeah.
But this
it's
steals
not-
2.
That's
This one goes
fine.
to 11.
In most games, this steals 0, Wookie.
I know.
The problem is that with the problem is with the damage enhancements
He
in the
dies.
set with all of the mutant creatures
Yeah.
dealing 3 damage, like it just dies too. That's what.
It dies
You know-
to all sets real fast.
Yeah.
All sets have tons of things that deal 1 damage. This set will have more than any of them.
I'm looking at the arc score, and the fact that it says it's expected to steal leaving 0.75 seems high to me. Like this thing, on average, will steal 1/4 of an amber. Once out every 4 times or 8 times you play it, it steals or
See,
something.
I
Like,
feel
that
if-
seems.
I feel if Shadow Self were in this set, he would make Shadows a lot better. I don't know why
Yeah.
they'd like
I
refuse
wish
to reprint him.
Shadow Self was printed in all of the sets. Like
This
Well-
with a Shadow
so
Self
good.
is a card that you wouldn't be so
You're
sad
right.
to have, but the way it sits now, garbage.
You got nothing. Safe House. We're gonna go through Safe House. I have to actually. I will be gone for about 2 minutes. My son needs some assistance, so I will read Safe House.
Safe House.
Pip of Ember every time you play it for an artifact action. Archive a friendly creature.
This is a card I like because of the set we're talking about. This is Mass Mutations, where all kinds of bonkers stuff that already has play effects that can have enhancements. This can make those keep happening. It sucks that it has to be action on shadows, but other than that, I think it's real good.
But it
Well-
works real well with your common bonithings. Well, once they
Oh, yeah.
forged a key, yep, and this thing's on the board, it's
Yeah.
this card can potentially be
Yeah,
really
give me,
good.
Give me a Bonithing with some enhancements in this artifact, and yeah, I might be staying in shadows for a while. Yeah. Thoughts, yeah?
No, I agree. I think what you guys said was spot
Yeah,
on.
this
Let's do some
even
spike trap.
putting your Rad Penny into your archives could be fine because it's a guaranteed way to cycle and play it again.
Yeah, I mean,
Eh,
it's.
that's right.
I mean, I'd rather her in my archive than in my deck somewhat randomly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anything
Trap.
with play effect.
Moving on, Spike Trap is a reprint. Probably a little less utility because of everyone can use your artifacts easier. But yes, Shadowsmith, take us away. Wookie.
All right, Shadowsmith. I am back. 3 power mutant thief. Each mutant gains elusive.
Nah.
Nah, that's kind of how
Next.
I feel.
I mean, like it's
Nah.
it's
Not
two
even
ways.
each friendly.
It's 2 ways. Like so, y'all have heard my thoughts on these 2-way things. Unless they can be highly manipulated to your advantage, you could be giving your opponent a bigger advantage than yourself. So no, I don't want this card in my deck.
Why couldn't this suck thing be in rare so we have to see it even less? Because this is
Oh,
just
I thought
a
it was a
bad
rare.
card.
I thought
No,
it was
this
a
is-
rare.
This is the last uncommon card.
Is this-
Yeah, this does feel like it should be a rare. It does have that like weird
Triple,
effect that
like-
rares have.
This is my card I'm going to put my search out for triples or more of this guy because that's the good start to a reversal deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he sucks.
He's bad.
He sucks, but is he bad enough for reversal?
Oh, God, yes.
He's not NARP bad, but he's
Well,
bad.
hold on. NARP is the greatest card in the
Oh.
game, sir. All right. You know how many people I get messages from that tell me NARP won them a game? Just telling you, man. Don't sleep on NARP.
How many
Let's
people
go.
have messaged you saying that NARP has lost in the game.
Well, none, but
All right. If
You
you're
know.
listening to this and you lose a
Yeah.
game because of NARP,
Yeah, let me know
please
about it.
Message Wookie.
if it's specific, it's got to specifically be due to NARP. Like, you can't be like, oh, his neighbor couldn't
So-
reap because now I couldn't reap with him, so I
Oh,
didn't
you
gain
lose
money."
for having a NARP.
No, there's no
Oh,
card that says you lose for having a
That's
NARP. It's best card in the game. Anyways,
What's interesting so far, little stat here for the amber on our commons, there's 5 amber pips that are on the cards 3 damage enhancements and 1 capture enhancement in common. In the uncommon slot, we have 8 Amber Pips, 1 damage, and then 3 capture. And we're about to see the rares, which again are going to show up the least, but we have 10 Amber Pips coming on these rares and 6 of the damage enhancements, but they're all going to come on 1 creature. So it's an interesting, or sorry, on 1 card. So it's an interesting layout for Shadows with what they're really pushing for with a lot of Amber on.
Looking at Brobnar
So
Wookie.
let's go ahead and
What?
We're looking at Brobnar.
Oh, Doom Sigil. I was looking for a way, if there's a way that I can search by win rate. But Doom Sigil is an artifact in Shadows.
Certainly.
Each creature gains poison. If there are no creatures in play, destroy Doom Sigil. So this is basically blow things up.
Yeah. I like this. This is fun. It is 2 ways. I think it's fun just as a, like, to see what happens when it's played. It's kind of like an Annihilation Ritual thing. There's some decks this isn't be great in, and there's going to be some decks it's horrible in.
Yep.
If you have one of those decks that could swing this huge in your advantage, this can be good.
All those 1-power creatures.
Yeah, it's going to take time to learn what those decks are. But yeah, it's an interesting card. I think there are decks that could benefit highly from this.
Can I have a deck that has 11? Well, you know what? Give me 10 Rizzos and 2 Doom Sigils.
Right.
Because he's elusive, right? Well, he loses elusive. All right, anyways. I'm sorry. JR, what do you think of Doom Sigil?
I think it's fine. It's nice to see another Sigil coming back. And so I think it's fine. The symmetrical component we've already talked about. We'll have to see. I want to play it and kind of make the decision after.
Should have had an Amber Pip on it.
Yeah.
Not very sigily without one.
Narps.
It definitely could have used it.
Narps 46 point. What is the highest win rate of a card? And what's the lowest?
Finishing Blow has 58.2.
That's pretty high.
I actually don't know.
Finch Cloak is a reprint you'll be seeing. Finch Cloak is a reprint you'll be seeing. It's funny because I don't think I've ever seen this card actually in play. Has anybody actually seen this card played against them?
I have a deck that has it. I've played it.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
I've never actually seen it played. But Finishing Blow also going to find itself getting a reprint. You're going to find a kind of a theme here in the next few cards. Gambling Den finding itself getting a reprint. I want Gambling Den decks badly. Heist Knight also getting a reprint. Oh, and hey, look, a card that screws Sanctum. What a surprise that it's being reprinted in this set. Imperial Trader being reprinted in this set. Man, Sanctum just can't catch a break, can they? And then we got Johnny Longfingers. 4-power Mutant Thief. Each friendly mutant creature gains destroyed, steal 1.
Yeah, he's also a mutant. He's immediately good because he gets his own effect, and then only your mutants get the same effect. Yeah, I'd love to see this in sealed. Probably doesn't make an Archon cut, but possibly.
Him plus a Doom Sigil plus a. She's not a mutant, is she? I'm scrolling back up. No.
So Rad Pennies.
Rad Pennies. Get some Rad Pennies, some Johnny Longfingers, and some Doom Sigils. Sounds like a party to me.
I just want to say, I think Heist Knight got a little bit better in this set because when you look, there is only 2 creatures that were not thieves in this, which I think some of the other sets were lower. A lot of thieves in this set. I mean, they got a stick, and Heist Knight is always in your opening hand, and it's worthless. But
yeah, I mean that's how that happens.
It's got a better dream now than it did before.
Mm-hmm.
I like how you said Heist Knight's always in your opening hand, and it always sucks. I know
agree.
the pain. Let's get into Liam. Liam Say. I'm looking at his art, and it looks like he's eating like a cheese curd, but a very big one on a stick. 3-power elf creature, elusive. At the start of your turn, you may deal 1 damage to a creature. I'm not.
Don't want that.
I'm not thrilled on it.
Not.
No.
Go ahead, Dan.
Not doing it for you?
I'm not in love with this, but
no.
Most people thought the Floor is Lava or whatever that card was an acceptable thing, where it did 1 damage to a creature on each side.
I mean, sure, it pops.
But that's an artifact, so it's more sticky.
Yeah.
But this is one damage to one creature. I mean, I don't.
And it's not a thief, so your dream for heist
Oh,
on the main.
oh,
Oh, man.
all right. Liam didn't say. Out.
Yeah.
You're out, Liam. Go away. You know who is a thief, though? Master Mindy.
Mindy.
Is it Master
Mindy.
Mindy or Mindy?
I'm sure it's Mindy.
I'm sure it's Mindy. Whatever, fine. Another card for somebody to put on there. You know, how come we're the only show that has highlight reels of mispronounced cards? Is it because I'm reading them?
I don't know. Maybe.
But Master
English is
Mindy.
Wookiee's second language.
Yeah. 2-power elf thief. There you go, Dan. Elusive. At the end of your turn, put a scheme counter on Master Mindy. Just when we needed more counters. Action. Remove a scheme counter from Master Mindy. Steal one for each scheme counter removed this way. Very, very, very slow. Z, what do you got? You love it? Hate it? I know you got to hate it, right?
It's weird, naughty. Somehow worse.
I don't know why this has so much.
I guess
Arc
it's slightly better than
score.
naughty because the counters happen whether you're in shadows or not. So, like, that's
Correct.
important to note. That's the only thing that makes this better than naughty, though. Not a fan of naughty. Yeah, I mean, it's a slightly
Because the
upgrade.
arc on this card is bananas.
Well,
3
that
to
might be
4.3.
that might be a message to send to a teammate of mine. It should be very close to Naughty's arc.
I mean,
and
even
Naughty's arc is
Liam has a
not that high.
2.2 to 2.7. That seems super high for him.
2 is the average,
Is
I mean, Liam's
2
a
is the
pretty
average
average
in
card.
arc?
roughly.
Yeah,
Okay,
2
wow.
means it's just a whatever card. Is sort of how. So yeah, Liam, he's
He's
think
a
he's
3-power
high.
elusive body, so he should be above 2, just because he
Well,
is expected to.
Yeah, but his creature control score seems high at 1.5 for 1 damage. Because, like, 1 damage on a pip is only worth a quarter creature control. And he's not going to do 6 or 8 damage in a game, I doubt.
No,
I mean,
no,
I don't know
his
about you
creature
guys.
control should probably be like
Half.
0.75 to 1.
I'm not a
Yeah.
fan of Master Mindy.
Master
No.
Mindy, like, if that was a destroyed effect, okay.
It's a naughty
Yeah.
type creature. That's just what it is.
Yeah, this.
I prefer Gamgee to this card.
Yeah. And she's rare.
If there was a way to make her immune, or the card that I've asked for and does not exist yet is I want a card that just generically doubles all the counters on a card.
Yeah, I don't know if that card.
So
doesn't
it could
exist.
be it doubles damage counters and kills it, doubles amount of captured amber, doubles anything. Just all the counters that are on something gets doubled. I think that's a card that needs to exist. And then something like this,
becomes viable.
well, becomes interesting.
Yeah. Just, I mean, I guess at the end of every turn, but now I got to put her behind a taunter, hopefully. But she's still 2 power. There's still so much damage floating out there right now. I mean, and most.
I think that's
most,
the key piece there, Wookie. There's
Yeah.
so much damage floating out that
I mean,
it's
she's
a danger.
wretched
It's not
and
happening.
sealed because of all the enhanced damage.
She's wretched
but
in everything.
she's less bad in like
In what?
versus. Actually, I don't know. 2 power is still low.
2
I mean,
power
she
is so low. If she was a
she's
4
still less
power,
bad
fine.
against the other 3 sets. She is.
She
absolute
dies to a
trash
twin emission
against
bolt.
against anything else in this set.
So any bounce.
I'm
Pretty
not.
much-
I'm not a fan. Yeah, you're right. Bounce and all the counters. Like
Any-
you let
any-
them stack up 10 counters and be like, bump.
Bump. Any bounce hurts her. I mean, the plethora of damage that's out in this set. She dies to the only cards I think is that AOA is the only one that had 1 damage cards, like legitimately, right? Like they had deal 1 damage.
Oh, there's a couple in this set too that we've talked about. are bad.
But I'm saying before this set. I mean, and then just I don't know. She doesn't make it, and at the
No,
rare slot, at the rare slot, she's useless. You're never gonna have multiples of her. or rarely are you going to have multiples of her. So you can't like flood the board with them and say, well, you got to deal with them all one at a time. And then even then, she dies due to a emission bolt. So even if you had multiples, boop, boop, done.
I'm going to start typing in the SAS discussion channel now.
I just think she's not making it. She's not even going to make it to Reap.
You need to say something about Liam Say more probably than Mindy.
Let's kind of move forward a little bit. Master Plan finding itself getting a reprint. Mole, Pip of Ember every time you've played it. We've talked about Mole before. The creature gains this creature gains. Your opponent may spend Ember on their creatures as if it were in their pool.
This card is really good.
This card is really good. And here's where we go back to old Bruno.
You double tributed me for 8? Okay. He's a mole now.
I was thinking more Bruno. Slap a mole on him. All of a sudden, Bruno becomes real good.
No.
The creature that captures all of your Ember?
Mole is put on your opponent's creature.
Yeah.
Not on your own creature.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said opponent.
Still real good.
You lay down your, the Star Alliance robot that captures everything. Like, here you go.
Anthony?
Yeah, here you go, Anthony. Try to kill your 6-power creature now in one turn.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to forge with it.
I like Mole a lot. I wish it wasn't rare. I wish it was at the uncommon slot. Make Shadows decent.
This set uncommon would probably be pretty busted, just because of stuff that already exists in all 3 sets.
I don't know. I don't think uncommon makes it busted. I really don't.
It would just make Shadows immediately real good.
Shadows has been junk for the past 2 sets.
It has.
Shadows hasn't been anything
what it was
since Coda.
after set 1. Yeah.
Yeah. So AOA Shadows was okay. You did have some good stuff in there, Ronnie's. But I mean, even when you go into Worlds Collide, Shadows is still again very mediocre. And then we go into Mass Mutation, and I don't want to give everybody's rankings away, but I have a feeling they're going to fall somewhere between middle of the pack and the bottom of the pack. One Last Job finding itself getting a reprint, which I do like the One Last Job getting a reprint. Oh, no. Pincerator. That sounds right. Artifact, Pip of Ember every time you play it. At the end of each turn, deal 1 damage to each flank creature. Ugh. Again, at a rare, I don't know if I want it. What you got, JR?
I said it's symmetrical, so it's hitting your own too. Be aware of that.
Each turn. So, like, all your flanks are taking 2 damage before it comes back to you.
Yeah, every turn. That is true. I didn't even think about that.
Have less creature control than Liam. Because it's not
this
targeted.
Should have a ton of creature control.
Okay.
I'm just looking at that. You're right. Liam has a 1.5 to 2. This has a 0.2. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 0.75 to 1.
0.25 to 1 on creature control. Right? We're talking about Pincer?
Oh, that's expended Ember. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the right one. 0.25 to 1.
At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to each. Like this plus Liam? Well, he's the start. I don't know.
I don't know if I want to ever see this card. I get a Pip of Ember. But, I mean, again, in the rare slot, is this the card you want in the rare slot?
Yeah, this is the card you want with your double...
My double Rad Pennies on the
Q-Max,
flanks?
double Radmax stack, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, maybe that's fair. Maybe that's fair. Because it is symmetrical, so even if it gets stolen, it's fine. Maybe. Maybe you're right. Maybe you are right. Maybe
it's a rare slot card. I think it is a rare slot card. It could be interesting someday.
With this to see, like, again, it's dual-sided, so... But there could potentially be decks where, like, this is doing nothing to your decks because of armor, and is wrecking your opponent.
Because, like, we all like Fangtooth, and that can often just kill your own guys.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have to play with this some more.
I like the idea of if the Rad Penny has some bonus pips on it, either in the draw category or in the bonus Ember pips on it. I like this because again, now if you, I mean, I know we're talking if you get a couple of rad pennies with some good, bonuses on them, plus a seeker needle or two. You could play 2 rad pennies, steal 2.
Johnny Longfingers would combo well with all
Right. Pop both of your seeker needles onto your rad pennies, shuffle them back into your deck, or do it one at a time, and hopefully with a draw, hopefully you draw her back, play her again. You know what I mean? We kind of get into this rotation.
I really think this is most bonkers with 2 QMAX.
I was gonna say, or
you can play logos forever once you have that set up. You're gonna draw, even if those are the only 2 logos cards you play, you draw 2 more because QMAX.
Right.
And then they die and they go into the archive, and next turn you take them back, you play, you draw 2.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe I underestimated this card because at
maybe?
first thought I didn't think about it. But now I'm like, with some rad pennies and some secret needles, plus a decent logo lineup.
I think it can definitely create some interesting game states for sure. Like wards.
There's also
like it's
plenty of game states where this is going to be trash.
Yes. All right, what's next?
What you got, JR? I saw JR going.
Oh.
I say we go into sack of coins. I think we've talked about it.
Okay.
We'll have to see, but it's going to be dependent on what the deck is. So,
Yeah,
sack of coins getting a reprint.
Yep. Sack of coins reprint. Safe space getting a reprint. I'm sorry, safe place, not safe space. Shadowsaurus, 5 power, 1 armor, dinosaur thief. Action: move each ember from an enemy creature to your opponent's pool. If there was at least 1 ember on that creature, take control of it. While under your control, it belongs to House Shadows.
They clarified this one that even if it doesn't have the amber on it, you're still going to steal it.
The creature?
Yeah. So this is basically just a steal a creature.
So there was an errata on it?
No, there is an unofficial.
Yes.
There was something with, I think it was this card. Maybe I have the wrong card. Let me look up that.
Because that doesn't make sense, because they would have to have errated it.
Yeah, I mean, this is very explicit. If there was at least 1 amber on that creature, take control of it.
I mean,
I think if there was only 1, and then you move it, it's still, there's something. Let me see if I can find.
I don't know where the confusion would come in this card.
I think this is pretty good, right? Like you can take anything with amber on it.
Maybe.
So what's interesting is a big giant fat stack. It may not be helpful to give it all to your opponent, but when we're seeing some of those worlds collide, but when we're seeing some of those Unguist decks where all the creatures then magically become super large, I think that it has options to be able to deal with that type of deck right now.
Yeah, I mean this is another answer potentially to some of the stuff that was happening in Worlds Collide against you. You would still have to have a way to answer the amount of amber you're giving them, though.
Well, not only that, it requires an action, so it's slow in how you play it.
I hate this card because I know that this card is the reason that Too Much to Protect is not in set.
Probably. But it could be Legacy, though.
Here's the deal with Legacy. And I'm just going to say this right off the bat. I think Legacy is very controlled. Very, very controlled.
I don't.
Because we continue to talk about if we see Legacy this and if we see Legacy that. And it seems like these decks that do have these Legacies cards that we want and are looking for in them never really seem to come of anything. And they never seem to, pop up. I mean, I'm just...
I do not know of anyone that has a great deck because of the Legacy that is in that deck.
Right.
This is true.
So I know that I'm going to guess that this card is the reason that Scaling Steel is not in Shadows. Which, if you put Too Much to Protect in Shadows right now, and don't get me wrong, I hate Too Much to Protect. It is the bane of my existence, but it is almost a very necessary card.
Mm-hmm.
Like this whole set has 0 Scaling Steel in it, and I think like just run. There's no reason not to just run in this set.
Yeah.
Is
especially
it?
if it's
Am I wrong on that, or anybody?
I mean, the worst thing they can do is capture it all. So just set on set. There's no reason not to generate 100 amber.
There's no reason to hold back plays. There's no reason. I mean, I don't see any reason not to, like, if you're like, oh, I'm going up against mass mutation, cool. I just get to run. And I have a deck personally that wants to do it so bad, but I normally have to scale myself back because of TMPT, because
That was the
of
day, right? That someone was talking about Galaxy, the last Archon Vault winning deck. Like, I can't even think of a mass mutation deck that would, like, built stand a chance against it.
right.
Like,
I mean, there's definitely pieces in this set that it's like, oh, that was meant to kind of control this and this and this, but the more I'm looking at mass mutation, I'm not going to lie, the more I'm worried. I think there's going to be bananas decks. I absolutely do. I have more faith in this set than I do in AOA of seeing that bonkers, stupid, ridiculous deck that just, it says, I'm going to run and there's nothing you can do to stop me. With
like,
the
I love
logos the way it is.
surprises. So I think the sealed aspect, the not knowing where the enhance, even when you're playing Archon, like, I love that part. So I'm going to always enjoy that part of mass mutation because it's one of the reasons why I love the game so much. So I love where they're going with it. I'm with you though. Like, the lack of top end amber control is going to immediately be felt when you're facing a top end Coda deck.
And maybe I'm wrong. Like, maybe that capture and all that jazz is really gonna level. It does level it out. Maybe it does. I don't know. Because I haven't really, I haven't gotten to play with the stuff yet. I'm not really like 100%. I don't know. But
Yeah, so that clarification on shadow sources, because you move all the amber off of it, and then the next sentence says if there was at least the timing, they're saying that.
Oh, so somebody tried to say that Shadowsaurus doesn't do exactly what he says he tried to do?
Well, it was based off of questions off of foreign language off foreign language cards, so the wording may not be identical to what we're seeing here on what they're seeing.
That would make sense.
So
anyways,
but it's definitely.
Let's keep moving. Z's favorite card, Smiling Ruth, is getting a reprint. What? I'm sorry, Z. What?
I didn't see it.
It's your favorite card.
I don't think I ever looked at the art. She's got a Joker smile.
She sure does. But it's Z's favorite card. So if you ever see Z, have him sign your Smiling Ruths, because he loves them. He plays with all of them. Send him your decks. Is Z getting ready to kill me? Yeah, he wants more decks. Is Z getting ready to kill me?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move into Master Splinter. Why didn't they make him a rat? Really? Out of all the things, we couldn't have made him a rat? 1 power mutant thief. Enhance with, is that 6 damage counters?
6 damage.
Yep.
All right. What do we think about a 6 damage enhancing rat? I'm sorry, thief. He's not a rat. But he looks like Shredder. I don't know why.
Don't know how I feel about this card. Damage amber pips are my least. If they were guaranteed to come in groups of 2, like it put 3 groups of 2 damage amber pips, I think I might like this card. But just 6 spread, not invested in damage.
It's a completely average card. It is not bad. It is not good. It's worth a slot in a deck. Sucks that this is a rare. I think you could have actually had a lot of fun stuff if this was uncommon, honestly. I wouldn't be annoyed if it's in my deck. I would rather it than Ruth, which is right next to it.
Z's favorite card.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be angry if it's in my deck. I don't want it. I'm not looking for it, but I think it does serve a purpose.
So
I think there's a missed
double
opportunity.
Splinter decks will exist.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, theoretically, they could exist. Sure. 12 damage.
Yeah.
Every card gets a pip. What?
A lot of cards have
that's a lot of cards getting pips.
Yep. And very good chance if one of them is a red penny.
Or a Masters.
Which isn't great.
I'm just disappointed. I'm looking at his art. He definitely looks like a rat.
There are no rat creature types yet.
Yes, there are.
There's plague rats.
There's plague rats.
Oh,
Did you forget about the
about those.
awesome, wondrous plague
Yes, I
rats?
forgot about the plague rats. I've
Yeah.
never played a deck with them in it.
Oh man, they
I
should have been
play
reprinted in
multiple
this
plague
set.
rat decks.
They just should have reprinted them in this set. Plague rats plus Master Splinter. Are there turtles yet?
Yeah, it
They
would have been
should've
actually cool if plague rats were in and he was a rat, because then they
Yep.
And
like
then
it wouldn't do damage to him.
And then he can enhance them with the damage.
Yeah,
That'd be
that would
sweet.
actually be kind of fun.
That'd be amazing. I mean, we need turtles now for sure, but that's not a
They
thing.
could have had mutant plague rats and called them
There was
plagued
a
rats.
totally tubular quote up way up north.
There is a
that,
total. What that was on the card that's Dark Wave. No,
yeah.
Significantly less tubular. So it is what it is. JR, this is our final not reprint card. What is your thought of Splinter?
I like the picture and kind of the theme that's happening. I need to be able to play right now.
Yeah.
I need to be able to play it. So I'm
Yeah.
in a wait and see.
I'm in agreement with that to kind of see how that whole thing shakes itself out. But Shadow Council finding itself getting a reprint, one of the lesser leaders, I honestly think, even in this set, one of the lesser leaders. This Sting finding itself getting a reprint. Have we found a way to break Sting in this set yet?
There's no key cheats. Sting's stuck.
Yeah, there is none, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there really is no way to break Sting in this set without a key.
Destroy everything card and
The Toad, wrong?
Toad?
Nope, it's pretty bad.
Toad? Yes, love Toad. And then we got all the thieves. The Dino Thief, the Lyco Thief.
These
the
ones
Shaco Thief.
are so bad.
Why are these ones so bad?
Why are they called thief and they just have elusive?
Well, they all have.
Weren't they?
Oh no.
And then when they're in other houses, they get Umbra, and Umbra doesn't have elusive, and this just makes me so angry.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess a Techno Thief elusive with a Reap effect that lets you discard draw one, that is tolerable.
Yeah, Techno Thief is the only one that is marginally good.
Xeno
These
Thief's,
all suck.
Xeno Thief's pretty bad because he's got to fight.
Okay.
So I mean, he's okay.
To go back with the Sting, you do have Key Frog. That's about the best that you're going to be able to use.
Yeah, but that's not abusing it. Like at best, that's yes, you can force that one key.
No.
Yeah, there's no way to abuse it.
There's no way to abuse it in this set. Huh? What a shame. Printing the Sting with no way to abuse it. That's kind of not good. I don't enjoy that.
Kind of where we need to finish there.
Yeah, that's kind of where we need to finish. So let's let's go through all of them. We've done all 7. Z, start us out with your rankings.
I think I still have Logos at the very, very top. As I said before, I'm still undecided between Dis and Star Alliance as far as who's taking second. Right now, I'm going to go Dis. The very close Star Alliance possibly could take over Dis at some point after some play sets. The next 4 are super muddled. Honestly, just because Steel is Steel, I probably am putting Shadows 4th. And yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't like what it has as far as in total, but I think I'm going to put it there just because of the fact that Rad Penny is there. It can be broken. It's on common. And there's enough other commons that I like as far as that goes. And then we're going to go Sanctum and Untamed. I have in the same order. And then Saurian's last. I think we could have decks that are really good, but a lot of the stuff I need to happen in Saurian has to happen in the exact specific way. Based on certain rarities and certain cards, and them existing in perfect harmony with the other 2 houses in the deck. But that's the order I have.
Dan, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with what we've been thinking. We all like Logos. Then it's probably Dis, Star Alliance. I think then it's Shadows because there is a fair amount of steel on common cards. Like, there are common... There's just enough steel in common that it should be okay. And then I'm going to stick with my Sanctum because I think it synergizes with other houses better than any of the other ones. And then the stuff that's under there is all that crap that we don't care about.
Saurian Untamed or Untamed Saurian?
Saurian Untamed.
All right, fair enough. JR, what you got?
So I definitely am in agreement with Logos there. I am still leaning towards Star Alliance than Dis, but man, that is getting closer and closer. I do want to play them and be able to see, but
Yeah, I think until we play
I think
both of
they're in
those
the second
houses.
I think they're in the second tier.
Yeah, I think until
Yeah.
we play both of those houses, we're not going to know.
What was interesting is that I have Sanctum and Shadows in that next tier, and I think that the overall cards in Sanctum are better than Shadows, but the problem is Steel is still better than Capture.
Yeah, it's
And
twice.
so-
It is. Yeah, twice. Yep.
And that's the whole problem. So I think right there that I still have to put Shadows above, but man, Sanctum really does offer something. So I consider that my third tier, and then I put Untamed and Saurian at the bottom, and Saurian is still very, very.
Yeah, I have Logos, and like we said, Dis and Star Alliance. It's so close to like 2A 2B. Like it could really honestly go either way, with one being second and one being third. They're just so close to each other. I have Shadows at fourth. Sanctum is my fifth, and I actually go Saurian. Oh, see, I struggle with Saurian and Sanctum, because Saurian does have some good pieces, but if you don't get them, they can be an utter cluster house.
The problem with Saurian is you almost have to have like named rare cards.
Yeah, but there's some good stuff. I mean, Faust is in there, and if you got a
True.
good set on him, there's that ability. And it's the same thing with Sanctum. Like I think those two houses are going to be those cluster houses where when you get the right set, they're going to work, and they're going to work well. And if they synergize with the other parts of your deck, they're going to run away with it.
Saurian does synergize really, really well with Shadows. I do
Right.
have to say that from what we just talked
Yes.
about. So I could legitimately see there being a Logo Shadows Saurian Archon deck like that. That would not be that hard to be randomly generated. So that I could see that happen.
Mhm.
How much are you giving away to not having Star and Dis in your deck?
Right.
That we just have to see and play it out and see what's going on there.
And then I still have Untamed at the bottom. I really don't see a reason to play Untamed at all. Like, if you can avoid them, do it. Like, play Gratz. Just don't even touch them.
I don't think any house has consistently got as worse as Untamed set by set. Like
Yeah.
every single set, they've literally decreased almost the exact same amount, and now they're
Mhm.
at the bottom. Hopefully, it gets phased out or drastically overhauled because it's real bad.
We're going to talk about some
Counters are
things.
awesome.
What counters?
Power
Power.
counters.
Oh, yeah, power counters.
Plus one.
For me to eat with my gateway to... I mean, no, not that. But that's going to do it for us today. Thanks, everybody who joined us in the YouTube. And thank you for everyone who joined us on the download and or instant play. We got some... I think I got some fun ideas for next week. We'll see how it goes. And we'll kind of go from there. Guys, anything before we kind of split out of here?
Stay safe.
Yes, stay safe, forge some keys, and hopefully we'll be able to play some Chainbound in your local area, but definitely stay safe.
Yes. So we'll see you guys all next week. Got to get in here now and end stream.